4. The Lotus. The conqueror worm rules the formal world with all its transient trappings and its gods and rituals of death. The Shining Ones. Those who have crossed over to the farther shore of the law of illumination have transcended both form and no form and thus dwell in Narabhasagokara. The rare flowering of the Tathagata blooms in the soil of imagelessness. Like a bubble, produced by the churning waves of the Vijnanas, so is the body with its desires, a phantom shadow, one that vanishes when exposed to the illumined law of unborn light. Hence, one is freed from the bondage of death and walks away unseen, as the volatile mind is silenced in the ecstasy of the antecedent vigilance. Dukkha overwhelms the one who with distracted mind plucks the flowers of desire with wanton recklessness, searching aimlessly through endless kalpas for elusive shadows. Maya carries that one away as swiftly as the waters of a raging flood. Like a gorget-filled maggot that eats itself to death in frenzied fashion, so is the one whose insatiable appetite for sensate phenomena is unquenchable, even in a vichy hell. As gently as a bee alights on petals for its sweet nourishment, just as gentle are the children of Bodhi, who taste the essential light of the Dharma without disturbing its unborn essence. Refrain from exposing the inadequacies of others. Look instead to your own corruptible form nature, that is mired in defiled garbha since beginningless time. Loving the letter of the Dharma and basking in its divine fragrance is not the same as acting on the dark principle of the unborn that sustains it. Like the sweet scent of a lotus in full bloom, such is the essential quietude of dark wonder, bestowed upon those who act on that deathless principle. Awakened from the realm of dukkha, the rotting corpse of scandic decomposition is discarded like a decaying heap of lifeless flowers, as the Aryan mind is free to celebrate the supreme noble wisdom of its kind. The perfumed scent of the most beautiful flowers soon dissipates, becoming lost in the wind. But the sweetened resolve of the Arahant permeates phenomena, with the Sugata Garbha in all 10 directions. Those noble Aryans, ever vigilant in the recollective resolve, never fall prey to the diseased desires of Maya the Evil One, as they are emancipated in the illumined essence of freedom's suchness. Just as the lotus rises from the depths of the dung heap, so do the enlightened ascend from the darkened bowels of ordinary consciousness. Fully awakened, radiant in Sambodhi, the deathless mind shines in triumphant unborn light. 5. The Worldlings. One who continues to seek aimlessly for the element of truth is like a fool who unknowingly sits upon an old trunk that is full of the rarest jewels. Long indeed are the countless worrisome nights and hence endless dukkha and rebirth for anyone who does not make full stop to the workings of the meandering mind and instead turns about and recollects the very vivifying source of one's original nature. Wandering about through endless kalpas with worldling companions who are blind to the salvific light of the unborn is like sailing across the dark waters of hopelessness with the boatman Charon as he ferries the self-condemned to the Isle of the Dead. Better to awaken alone to the self-realization of noble wisdom, thus getting off the spinning wheel of samsara, setting foot upon the firm foundation of the other shore of Tathagatahood. Anyone who holds onto familial ties as if they were an endless source of wealth and protection is a fool indeed. Such a person is not even master of oneself, let alone being able to influence the lives of their own precious kin. One's true self-essence does not claim ownership over any phenomenal manifestations that are a mere shadow of its reflective glory. The mundane I that sees its foolishness can be cleansed of its karmic defilement, while not seeing its foolhardiness will only further imprison one into deeper karmic debt. Can the transient mind recollect mind? The foolish ones live out existence without being aware of the transformative inner power of the Bodhi-child. Thus the way to recollection of the unborn remains dormant. Mind recollects mind. Awakening the hidden child of unborn light releases the power of Bodhi, thereby illuminating the return to Buddha-Thata. Perpetual dukkha is the prize for those who bet their life away, rolling the discriminatory dice of accumulated habit energy since time immemorial. Eternal recurrence is the penance paid for one whose life is spent pining away through a self-made veil of tears. The need for repentance is forever silenced, as the joy of deathlessness takes precedence over the agitated mundane mind. The effects of one's karmic propensities may appear beneficial in the short term, but over the long haul, one's life essence becomes buried beneath dukkha's dark dirt, wearing down the temple, the body of the unborn through excessive ascetic practices is a futile enterprise and counteracts the bodhisattvic resolve to transcend any scandic-based rigmarole through antecedent vigilance. As milk begins to curd over time, just so do unwholesome misdeeds begin to clump together within the unwary mind of the Achantakas. The smouldering ashes of avidya cloud the clarity of the developing kotra. Hence any chance of transcending the sensory-addicted mind is destroyed. Bodhi power utilized through an unskilled mind, that is, one that lacks the self-realization of noble wisdom, can only lead to one's destruction. Swollen with grandiose notions of having obtained the supreme Dharma, such an ignoble persona leads others down the garden path of Adhamma. Pumped up with pride and dreaming itself to be a self-made avatar, it yearns for recognition amongst other minds of the same spoiled persuasion. Merit alone does not constitute recognition of the deathless Dharma. Beyond merit is the joy of awakening its perfected unborn essence, in the sweet solitude of Dhammapada 2:6. The Shining Ones. The Shining Ones reveal the pitfalls of this Dharma-ending age. In following them, one will find that marvelous Mani pearl of noble wisdom, the beloved primordial jewel of the unborn mind. The worldlings pay no heed to their luminous mission, but for those who have been meritoriously drawn to it, there is no greater joy or fulfillment than the embrace of freedom's suchness, in the Dhammapada. Better to shun those who prefer to wallow in the self-pity of endless dukkha, turning instead to that noble company who deeply joins together in mystic union of unborn light. Awaken to the truth of Citta-Matra, mind-only, lingering habitual notions are dispelled as one's original nature recollects itself, hence, great prana is aroused, highlighting the inadequacy of all attached formal illusions. As skilled tradesmen sharpen their techniques in order to produce a desired effect, likewise does one skilled in noble wisdom help to perfect the essence of mind's self-awakening, in the all-pervasive freedom of the Dharmakaya. Unshakable in the great Dharma-mega, what use does the Bodhisattva Mahasattva have with sensualist attributes of praise or blame? Like a stone slowly descending in the dark waters of Bodhi, the power of Bodhicitta is brought to bear upon those noble shining ones who have embraced the serenity of the Sugata. Recovering from the disease of desire, releases one from the accumulated pain of samsara. No longer playing the role of the victim, one awakens to the realization that no thing in this Saha realm is worth clinging to. Therefore continued excuse-making that prevents the deathless Dharma from taking hold is relinquished. Not being attached to fleeting moments of joy or sadness, the invincible Aryan mind casts no shadow-bearing bliss or lamentation. Remaining bound to cultural stigmatas like familial origins or the incessant commercialized creation of wealth, one counteracts the supreme and illuminating Dharmatic law. For the worldlings, even a glimpse of the other shore is never realized. Spinning endlessly like mice entrapped within an encaged wheel, their futile efforts only create further karmatic rebirth and painful dukkha. The Shining Ones, perfected in the self-realization of noble wisdom, have crossed over to the shore of suchness. They have transcended the darkness of death and are resplendent with unborn light. Having emerged from the cocoon of phenomena, their wings are free to soar in the shining essential stature of primordial perfection. The former scandic shell is discarded as they now dwell in the true abode of deathlessness. Forever free from former attachments and resting in serene solitude. As the ever-vigilant eye of the dragon discourages further contact with the unwholesome, they rejoice in passion's extinction and enjoy even now the ecstasy of parinirvana. 7. The Suchchild. Translucent Bodhi power awakens the dormant Dharma child, thus making full stop to the journey through endless kalpas of searching for the way to fully recollect the element of truth. Not confined to spatial parameters, the omnipresent unborn child of marvelous illumination liberates mind, when in pluralized obstruction mode, from the discursive thought process, by revealing its emptiness and lack of self-nature, sunyata. Like the Kalavinka singing its joyful tune, the Bodhi child gently whispers the mystically tuneful word that reveals the nature of unborn freedom. Having thoroughly bridled the unruly passions of sensate phenomena, the child of bright wonder reigns as their supreme master. The gods are awestruck as they witness the unsurpassed transformative power of Bodhi. Cool and refreshingly calm is the steadfast resolve of the one who has nurtured, through samadhi, the Suchchild. One's troublesome thoughts are now stilled. Excessive wordfulness is rendered mute. One's sole occupation is stillness itself. The seeds of samsara no longer take root, for all former belief systems are mere child's play, when seen through unborn eyes that reflect neither past nor future, but the eternal now of suchness. All former afflictions and associations and attachments are forever silenced. As the sweet Bodhi breath of the Suchchild fills one's days and nights with peaceful quietude, wherever that child dwells, there will be found the fullness of life forever.